Hi, welcome to Divine Play. I'm Jen Lucas, and this is Jean Catherine Gray. We're coming to you with another YouTube video from our channel. Jean and I were talking last night about the murders in Charleston from last week at the church and the 9 people who died, and we just decided we would like to talk just about our thoughts on that and share with you guys sort of what seemed relevant about that. And I guess the first thing to me that seemed relevant is mostly just that I'm incredibly sad, and in a way that has been happening kind of over and over, and yet some of the time I take action and some of the time I don't. And there's something about this that has just felt different to me, where it's really easy for me to remember the sadness and to want to do something about it. And in fact, I did take an action. I contacted somebody about doing something in my own community here in Charlottesville. And so that's just sort of the first thing that comes to my mind. But we wanted to share both of our thoughts.
And I think what's important about what Jen's saying is a lot of people react when they hear something like this with a feeling of loss and hopelessness. Mm-hmm. And what we hope is that people would feel inspired to do something, to act in some way, to get at the root of what causes people to act violently, and at the very, very least, to reach out to other human beings in your community and make connections across lines of difference. Because I may not talk to people who, for example, are white supremacists or something like that, right?
Me neither.
I know, and it looks to us like that wouldn't make sense. We wouldn't want them to be in our worldview.
Right.
But the truth is, because we're not taking the time to make those connections, people aren't exposed to another way of thinking about different cultures and different colors and different religions and all of that goes into acting out in a violent way, in a way that keeps you separate from other human beings.
I love how you just mentioned that, because that never even occurred to me. Like, I just had a different idea, and I think that really my idea was, I think I watched a Jon Stewart talking about the event, and he couldn't make any jokes. He talked about it all very seriously, and one of the things that he said was that we expect black people to drive down streets named after Confederate generals. And as soon as I heard that, I thought, wow, the things that I don't see because I'm white and because I have this privilege. And then so as soon as I see it, then I can take some action. Like, well, then I want to take some action, and that's where I went with it.
And I would take it even a little further in that saying it's not just like because you're white, it's because you lack education in that area, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, there'll be lots of people driving down that street who have no idea that that's a Confederate flag, whether they're brown or white skin.
Right.
And it's something that's really come to my attention because I was raised in New York City, and our focus in history was a multicultural focus. And so I didn't realize how little information other people had about the different cultures that make up what we call the United States of America and make up the world, And so now I've come to sort of stumble upon that as I live in Virginia with my brown-skinned daughter and my Asian daughter. And we run up against a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of misinformation about, being human in different cultures. Yeah. And so that's about education, actually. That's not about having white skin. And so I really want to invite people, this is an opportunity to step up and to allow your inspiration about how you could reach out into your community, how you could reach out to somebody you know in pain or who's suffering, how you can make yourself available in ways that work for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, initiating some actions in your community to create more education and historical understanding, as well as just helping people in your community who are suffering, are really key steps to creating in a community where there's less violence and where we have opportunities to live free of violent acts.
Yeah. And I wanted to add too, it's like the potential is really unlimited. So when we have moments where we're touched, when we sort of experience this sadness or whatever it is, when you're really touched by our humanity and you you have hope and you want for it to be a better place, and you have an idea about something to do, even if you can't figure out how it makes sense in the bigger picture, you would take action. I don't know, like if you think like I'm going to call my mom, like I don't know where that falls in the big picture, but the point is sort of where it comes from. And when you have that moment when you're touched and you have an idea to take action, it's absolutely worthwhile to do it, and it makes a difference. And we should be, I wish for all of us that we would be doing more of that.
Mm-hmm. I love that example because often taking action means that you've had some uncomfortable thinking. Like maybe you drive up and you're sitting in line and there's a homeless person on the street right there. You know, some people like have all of this thinking and worry and fear and rumination, and I've heard people talk about it rather than they're just a human being standing outside your car. I mean, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
And it may be hot or it may be cold or it may be whatever it is. These are the circumstances by which things are occurring. They're not personal in nature. And so the more that we treat each other with humanity and the more we look past our discomfort and see our shared humanity, you know, the more connection we'll experience with each other. And that results in something different. That's really what I hope, you know, to share with people.
Yeah. And we welcome your thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So let us know.
Yeah.